Muckraker James O'Keefe says, breaking, Department of Justice Deputy Chief. The Deputy Chief of the Department of Justice admits the government will redact every Republican's name in the Epstein files while leaving all the liberal Democrat people on the Epstein client list. Says Ghislaine Maxwell was moved. He says Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a lower security prison as a benefit to keep her mouth shut. So of course she's playing along, and any testimony she gives is so she could get a pardon from Donald Trump. That's what this is all about. She's playing ball. That's why she got moved to a nicer prison. Maxwell got transferred to a minimum security prison. It's against BOP policy because she's a convicted SEX offender. And so
we know this.
Let's listen to this.
But those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files. Leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files.
They visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against people.
This is the acting deputy chief Office of Enforcement Operations at the Department of Justice. Is there anybody, so they're all trying to get laid, and that's why they say this stuff. And James O'Keefe, so he gets a gay guy to go after a gay guy. He gets a hot chick to go after a guy like this, a middle-aged bald guy. Here we go.
Because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something, keep it shut.
That was the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Schnit, telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schnit, who works at a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements, special treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell, and the blatant backtracking on promises of transparency.
And what do you do for work again?
Work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week. I work closely with like all the federal law enforcement agencies and the U.S. attorney's offices, the prosecutors and stuff. And the thing is, it's interesting because I do deal with so many of the agencies, like the Bureau of Prisons, the Marshal Service, the FBI, U.S. attorney's offices.
Recently, the FBI and DOJ have come under fire for promising transparency, then refusing to release footage and unredacted documents, going directly against the public's expectations and the promises made by Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel. In a DOJ press release, Attorney General Pam Bondi stated, quote, "This Department of Justice is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on the disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators," unquote, and also claimed they were shedding light on Epstein's extensive network, only to later claim that Epstein was acting alone, and that the only video evidence they had was of Epstein's personal child porn collection.
Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were.
In the same press release, Kash Patel claimed, quote, "There will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, and no stone left unturned."
So on the Epstein matter or any other matters, we are diligently working on that. I'm not going to withhold information from the American public ever.
Only to later claim on Joe Rogan's podcast that releasing any videos would re-victimize those impacted.
We're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that shit back out there. It's not happening, because then he wins. Not doing it. You want to hate me for it? Fine.
But, internally there's a lot of, even within the administration, there's internal conflict.
Oh, okay.
Like, the head of FBI really wants it. Second in command at FBI has been like causing problems because he's like, no, these have to be released.
Yeah. So the FBI wants them out.
The top two guys there do that.
And Bondi does it.
I don't know what Bondi wants. Bondi wants whatever John wants.
Sure.
She's super desperate.
Why is there suddenly this internal conflict within the same administration that aggressively campaigned in 2024 to fully release the Epstein files to the American public? What new revelations did the DOJ and FBI make to now say that an incriminating client list does not exist? DOJ analyst Joseph Schnit comments on these inconsistencies and informs our undercover journalist that even if anything was to be released, it would be heavily redacted in favor of the Republican Party, indicating that this DOJ official, Joseph Schnit, probably leans Democrat.
Do you think the stuff with Epstein will actually get released or not at all?
If it does, it'll be heavily redacted and his name won't be in it.
But those files do exist.
There's files.
Yeah.
For sure. There's thousands and thousands of pages of files. But again, if they're released in any way, it's going to be very redacted. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files, and have a very slanted version of it come out where it's like, look at what he's going, without releasing any of their bad behavior.
The conversation then turned towards Ghislaine Maxwell and her highly publicized and unprecedented prison transfer.
They visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender, and they're not supposed to get minimum security prisons, which is an interesting detail because she's getting a benefit, which means they're offering her something to keep it on ship.
The difference between a low security prison and a minimum security prison is that minimum security prisons are designed for non-violent offenders with short sentences. They often have no perimeter fencing, and inmates are housed in dormitory-style rooms. We looked into the Bureau of Prisons policies, and Schnit's claim is in fact correct. Convicted sex offenders are historically ineligible for minimum security facilities. Schnit is also very credible by virtue of where he works, inside the Department of Justice. This raises significant questions about why Ghislaine Maxwell was provided such special treatment at a time where the DOJ and the FBI are under heavy scrutiny for their handling of the Epstein files.
And now you know the rest of the story. So according to that guy, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino want to release it. Want to release all the files, thousands of pages, according to that deputy at the Department of Justice. But Pam Bondi doesn't want to. When asked why Pam Bondi doesn't want to release those files, he said because she does whatever Donald Trump wants. And Donald Trump doesn't want it released. So there you go.
Again, it's a thing we all knew, but it's supposed to be a big deal because a guy from the thing said it. Why does everybody sit here like idiots waiting for the official disclosure when you could find out the whole thing right now? And people do. But well, are you an expert? Are you the guy? Blah, blah. And then so now I'm supposed to be excited because a thing I already knew, a guy, I guess he kind of looked like me, so maybe that's exciting.
It was exciting.
But like, stop waiting for disclosure. You're not getting it. Go look it up. Do your research.
Do your own research. But now they don't want the researchers to do their own research. They don't want a congressional committee to do their own research. Thomas Massey. They don't want people who are supposed to do their research to do their own research.
Oh, the hallmark of the Great West. When I hear one more moron talk about the West has fallen, no, it's working how it's supposed to, dipshit. It's a narco-terror organization, and that's what they do.
That's right.
They traffic your kids. They butcher people. Just soak the earth with blood. That's what the West is.
And if you'd like to hear me make those jokes about the West, you come see me in Appleton, Wisconsin, Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, Louisville, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, and San Francisco. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for ticket. I'm also going to be in Soul Joel's in Pottstown. That's in December, long way away. Over to stuff. Oh, we're going to be, guess what?
What?
We're going to Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. So we're going to be there. I don't think those tickets are up yet at the site, right? But we are going at the end of November. We're going to Melbourne, Sydney. We're going to be part of the JFL Just for Laughs Festival in Sydney, and then
That's a thing?
That's a thing, and they have it in Australia, eh? And then we go to Brisbane. So those are the three cities we're going to be able to make it to this time. Hopefully, we'll be back. We can go to Perth. We could go to Auckland. But right now, we're going to take a 15-hour flight straight through over the ocean, and we're going to go to Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. So that's coming. That's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and in the middle of November, right before Thanksgiving. So, okay, those tickets will be up at our website soon. Come see me on tour in Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco, Melbourne, Australia, Sydney, Australia, Brisbane, Burbank, California the day after Thanksgiving, and Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.